Hello, welcome to MSUA Game Changers webcast, where we speak with satellite and mobile connectivity thought leaders about industry trends and share what you need to know about the future of mobile satellite communications. I am your host, Roger Lanto, and I'm excited to introduce Alvaro Sanchez, CEO of Integrasys. Hey, Alvaro. Integrasys is a three-time winner of Mobile Satellite Users Association Innovation Awards for its various products that deliver spectrum superiority communications, PNT, and intelligence solutions for both defense and commercial markets. The company's software tools include CleanRF, InterGeo, Vectorsat, and EO Master, designed to enhance mission success by integrating AI, reducing time to resolution, and ensuring operational resilience in congested and contested environments. Integrasys is very much in the forefront of the dual-use world of satellite communications, which indeed touch applications ranging from remote education to defense applications. This reality is reflected in the latest announcement, which I found fascinating, of Integrasys' cooperation with Iron Cluster, the Ukrainian defense technology network. This may create some unique perspective on how the exchange of expertise and learning between commercial and defense applications works. So I think we're going to have an interesting conversation here, Alvaro, but let's dig in. But first of all, Alvaro, tell me a little bit about your history and connection to the satellite industry.
So I started my career after developing engineering, both industrial and software engineering that we call in Spain. I started in the collider industry. So in the collider industry, I was working at CERN, that is a big collider in Switzerland, and we were looking at the speed of the neutrinos of traveling from Geneva to Gran Sasso, that is Italy, and it was very high, but not meeting the speed of light. So the synchronization was crucial. So after doing timing, frequency was very similar, and satellite was frequency. And I like the sun, as it is sunny in Madrid, and it is not in Geneva. So I decided to move where my love was and where the sun was too, which it was Spain. So I landed in my father's company. So my history with satellites started when I was 3 years old, and he started Integrasys, and it has been most of the dinners around the table for since 1990. So for the better or the worse, I have been very involved for a very long time, and only few stops here and there.
Wow, satellite is in your blood. Okay.
Yes, it feels like it.
Okay, so but back to this, it was really quite intriguing to me, especially having just attended the Silicon Valley Space Week, where there was a lot of conversation about dual use, and obviously there's a military track, although it was a little bit hobbled this year. I think there were 22 speakers that had to cancel because of the government shutdown. But nevertheless, defense business goes on. What is the balance of Integrasys' business between commercial and defense applications, and how has that changed over time, and what's the outlook?
So it depends of the year. It has been growing the last 10 years. But before, we had no government business. So we developed the government business 10 years ago, and it has steadily growing, including 2025. It has not grown in the US because there has been a huge uncertainty and government shutdown, etc. But we continue to have multiple programs in the US. But it has grown significantly in Europe as well as in the allied countries in Asia. So in that regard, we see that global growth, even US, especially late this year, has been very, very slow to say it kindly. So extremely slow market these days due to lack of talent working, as well as lack of government and budgets. So no budgets, no new projects into that regard. And looking at a percentage these days, it would be about 60% government of what we do, while before it was 100% commercial. So going through a transition. Also, we see how now companies that are in the shipping business are realizing that they are having problems that governments do have, so such as GPS jamming. So our commercial customers are coming back saying, "Hey, can you help me in these new threats that I have never been encountering?" So having that dual use helps significantly on providing solutions to problems that at the end of the day become general.
Wow, I have several follow-up questions to your first question that are not on my list of questions, but I'm going to go right in. So, first of all, so you're only at the earliest stages then of engaging with the Space Defense Agency and Golden Dome, just very early days?
Well, we have been supporting different integrators in previous generations, as well as we have worked with U.S. Space Command, U.S. Space Force, and different other parts of the MOD, more tactical too. So I believe that we have engaged already with the heads of Golden Dome in the past, and multiple of our capabilities are very relevant to make sure that everything is connected, that has multipath to connectivity, as well as is resilient against potential threats. So, and also observing things that might be stable or moving. So those are some of the capabilities that we have. We won't be an integrator of capabilities for U.S. Department of War. What we would do is a subcomponent or a component type of provider to a bigger integrator that we partner with.
Okay, and but it sounds like with all the conflict that's been going on, you mentioned jamming has become a major issue.
Yes. So the electronic warfare these days is very high. Space has become a new domain of operation. So everything that you can do in the air, sea, or land can be done in space. So this brings a lot of threats. And those threats can be physical, those can be electromagnetic, similar to jamming, spoofing, or these threats can be energy focused. And those are the threats that we combat and protect from, and that's one of our expertise. And yeah, that's we are very good at that and have been doing that for many years.
And I'm just a little bit curious. I mean, I'm sure everybody is familiar with was it the EU executive's airplane that was interfered with? Was that the sort of most advanced attack, or have there been other high-profile attacks like that?
Well, it depends where. If you look at Ukraine, there are other high-profile attacks, but yes, it has been. Ms. van der Leyen has been threatened with EW, let's say, attack that is affecting or her plane or a region where it generates uncertainty and it generates risk, which is not in any way wanted. So having defense for those planes, those VIP planes, is becoming extremely important. We have worked for many years with VIP networks, where we design and protect those VIP networks from potential threats. And GPS jamming could be one of these threats that creates, again, uncertainty. You don't know where you are navigating. It's night, it's dark, you have clouds. So it's a risk of potentially crashing, because also spoofing is a risk, where they lie, the position and the timing. So it's even more confusing sometimes.
So Integrasys has a wide range of offerings. Can you put them into some context for our viewers and listeners? What are your latest initiatives and advances?
So we have been in the industry for 35 years, and we have about 30 technologies. So each technology solves one problem, not many, but one, and it's designed for a user, and then grow to more users, trying to diversify the market. But it's always with one customer that tell us, Integrasys, this is my problem. I need a solution. So we build a solution, and then we productize that solution to cover more customers. And that's how we do. One is for design the networks. So another one is orchestration of multiple connectivities, LEO, MEO, GEO. Then we have another one that select the best path to connectivity. Another one that monitors. But for monitoring, you also need tracking. So another one for tracking, then another one for protecting the EW, another one for geolocating, and another one after you geolocated, you want to see. So another one for observing. So there are different capabilities that all benefit one to each other, but and they are completely integrated or just modular, independent modules, depending if you have one problem or you could have many problems. So we solve many or just one.
So it sounded initially like everything is bespoke, but clearly you have some scalability opportunity, yeah?
So many times, the more active the defense world, the more innovative the technology becomes. Not only defense, but also on dual use. So one of the we started monitoring LEO and MEO and GEO satellites in the orbit about a couple years back, especially for defense. And now we migrated for regulation because direct to device is bringing the LEO competition to the major telcos. And it's going to disrupt telcos as it disrupted the satellite communications market. And now regulators really care about regulating LEO. So we have developed the first LEO regulation tool that we implemented in South Korea. And the customer already received an award for the national strategy contribution that they did. So very, very happy with that. And it's one of the capabilities that we can do the dual use, but in the other way, first government and then commercial. And we are very happy. We have implemented in multiple countries already, and it's again very on demand based on direct to device that is becoming huge these days.
And this was something you have already announced?
So we released this product in Satellite Show, and we have already deployed two systems with large antennas, flat panel antennas, different infrastructure that are operating by today in less than 9 months. So we are extremely proud of it. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so this D2D business is obviously stimulating the entire industry, yeah?
Yes, because they are threats, they are problems, and we need solutions. So that's a new solution that we developed prior for Starlink buying the EchoStar licensing, as we saw that there was a demand rising. So I believe that we had good relationship with ITU, with the regulators. So this way we could envision that roadmap and develop, and then we were able to productize and materialize good business that we are very appreciated to those regulators that invested.
Wow. Sounds like a candidate for a Mobile Innovation Award, maybe. Might find its way into the nominations. So, I think you already answered this question, but how is Integrasys evolving its solutions to serve a multi-orbit marketplace, which is obviously what has now emerged?
Yeah, so what we hear is that one way to connectivity is not enough. We need multiple. Geo has its sweets. It also has its sours. Leo also can benefit significantly, but it's not the answer for everything. So the combination of multiple assets, it's important. Also to keep the licenses alive over GeoArc. So, in that regard, multi-orbit policy is and networks are the ones that are succeeding these days, and combining and having redundancy. So, what we do is to manage, to design, and to orchestrate, and then to protect them. So, a combination of all. And for different agencies to also investigate them or being able to monitor and understand what is happening. So this is also important for national security, and we consider very important for us growing within the industry.
And are the regulators keeping pace? It seems like a big challenge. And you mentioned EchoStar. Clearly, there's some significant decision making ahead in that deal. I think you would agree.
Well, we worked with Hughes for many, many years, so we didn't expect that, which is the richest cash company these days. But yes, they sold a strategic part of their spectrum and their strategy. So we hopefully it goes very well their business plan, and we want to support them in anything we can. But it was a surprising news, and Starlink also surprising news. Going up front and saying, "I'm going to compete with you. I'm not only partnering locally." As they were saying, that only one was winning, so whoever was loaning the license, but now no one is winning. So in that regard, it's a big challenge because it's creating a lot of uncertainty. As they have demonstrated that they can provide very, very state-of-the-art capabilities and technology, and also very out-of-the-box business models where they don't need anybody. So they need just their employees in their country, and take into account that telcos are a strategic industry for every country that they are. So depending on one person that can push on and push off, that's less strategic. So yeah, there is a lot of buzz and uncertainty.
What was clear from the latest satellite Silicon Valley Space Week event was, and it maybe I'm a little slow, but it finally became clear to me that this NTN and D2D conversation is putting into play millions or even billions of devices being connected to satellites, and I'm assuming that may affect your balance of business between commercial and government. What are your thoughts about that impact, that change, that sort of changes everything proposition?
So I can look at myself. I don't know how many years I have not used the fixed line. So at the end of the day, you use Wi-Fi at home, but if you have a very, very good connectivity anywhere from your phone, that yeah, it's unbeatable. So yeah, it depends how it evolves. But yes, there would be many more users. It's going to be easier to access, and potentially the larger number of users, the lower the price. And yeah,
But,
it's going to
but there's
be.
also but there's also a concern which speaks to the Integrasys value proposition regarding interference or signal quality.
Well, there will be many more interference. No, there won't be less problems, and the new technologies will need to rise. So the same way as regulation, the same way as monitoring, also the same way for national security, for police. There will be many, many, many new needs. and we are working in many of those new needs as we speak. I cannot disclose much, but we are working a lot. And what our slogan is: building success from innovation. So we go creating new technology, but you will be the first one to know when we have very cool technology for direct to device in certain new threads. But yeah, keep an eye on us.
I'm going to take a closer look at the announcement that you mentioned earlier with regard to South Korea. So, okay, given that context, and it's clear that Integrasys listens closely to what customers' needs are and responds. But of course, you also have to be thinking about anticipating things. Can you say anything about what the next big opportunity for Integrasys might be, or maybe even for the industry?
So we are working on a few things. First, optical lasers communication. So we develop a link budget tool for that, for being able to connect both the space relays as well as optical to ground or to air. That we are seeing more and more development, and it's creating more and more momentum. The terminals are ready now, and they are starting to be produced in numbers that justify investments. And the technology is maturing, and more modulations, more bits can be transferred, and we see that this is becoming more and more relevant, and we would encourage the industry to take a look, as well as we are developing technologies related to optical as the market is demanding it. And yes, we listen always to the customer. If the customer tell us we need to go this way, we jump and we go. But if the customers don't guide us, then there are too many paths to follow. So yeah, where the customer guide us is where we go.
And what is the best way for me to keep up on the latest developments out of Integrasys?
So we have an excellent marketing team that posts a lot in LinkedIn. I wish I could track everything, but they are very active. We are doing a work that is focusing on the most important posts now, in order to narrow the scope and be able to keep and follow everything important that we do. We also send emailings, as well as there is a blog in our website, integrasys-space.com. And there are many hot topics coming up, and as this interview that we truly appreciate.
Well, thank you for that. Okay. So I want to thank the Mobile Satellite Users Association for hosting these sessions. You can learn more about the MSUA at msua.org. You can learn how to get our weekly newsletter that gives you updates on everything that's happening in the industry, including Integrasys, and shares information about upcoming events. And you can also find out how to become a member. We look forward to seeing you next time on MSUA's Game Changer webcast. And Alvaro, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much, Roger.